Hi there, my name's Emily and I'm on Team Partnership at Achievement First. And this video is a quick how-to of navigating our open source website and materials, specifically the curriculum that's available. I did want to start by pointing out that our open source website, which is achievementfirst.org/open source, does have the story of why we believe so deeply in being an open source network. And I recommend that you take a few minutes to read that story and understand a little bit more about why we really think that we are all in this together and why we are an open source network. Now I'm going to log in to the open source site, which hopefully you've already done because you've made it to this page to find this video. And we're going to spend time in this video really walking through the materials available in the instructional model. Quick note before we get into that nitty-gritty is that at any time you have questions or need to problem solve something, go ahead and send an email to sharing@achievementfirst.org. To get into our Curriculum Hub, you'll need to create an account through Office 365, which is the platform that we use for this open source sharing. While there is a temporary access you can use if you're in a bind, we really recommend you create your own Curriculum Hub account. This link here will take you to a page that gives you step-by-step instructions on how to create that. Once you do create it, we recommend that you just save that username and password and use the same one for the open source site and to get into the Curriculum Hub and save them so you can get in more easily. So I'm going to take us into some of the curriculum materials that are available at Achievement First. And this is a great point to pause and give a huge thanks and shout out to two very hardworking teams at Achievement First. The teaching and learning team, who does much of the creating and vetting of these materials, and the academic ops team that's taking those materials and then putting them up on this platform to share them with you all. It's so great to work with people whose hard work is being benefited both with us at Achievement First and across the country to have these amazing materials available. So each section of school, elementary school, which at AF is K4, middle school 5-8, and high school 9-12, have their own hubs and sites that are it's easy to get back and forth between them. There are also other materials that you might want to check out: college readiness, school readiness, arc of the year, which is more about culture and the focus of certain 6 weeks of the school year. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to give an overview of curriculum, and I'm going to take us to the middle school hub. Okay, so like I said, it's really easy to get back and forth between the different sites. The elementary school hub and all of the subpages for that, and then the middle school hub and all of its subpages, and the high school hub and its subpages are listed down the left-hand column here, and it's just one click away to get from one to the other. Each school, elementary, middle, and high, though, have this homepage where the most important and foundational documents for each content area are laid out. And they're laid out for each school year. So all of the 17-18 materials are available here, but you can also scroll to see earlier iterations. We really believe in continuously improving upon the materials that we create and what we make available. So I want to give you just a little bit of understanding about how all of these documents interplay with each other and why we think that they're important, and then I'll take you in to look at the more nuanced or daily materials. So each of our content areas begins with a program overview. This is a document that explains what we at Achievement First really believe in at the vision level for this content area. It'll explain the components of our program at a high level as well. So not only this is what we believe about in the teaching of science or the teaching of history, but also here is the pieces of a block or the components of our program that we put into place in the classrooms. So this is the most important document to really verse yourself in the how, the why, those big picture questions. From there, the scopes and sequences will lay out units over the year by topic, in ELA by text, and you can see those for each of the grade levels that they're available. Also on this homepage are FOI, which stands for Foundations of Instruction. So like I said in the program overview, it will explain the different components of a block of this content area. The FOI then gives you more information about what that looks like. So in ELA, you want to know what close reading should look like, or what we call it a reading workout, which is kind of reading for both breadth and depth over a lesson. If you want to know what guided reading looks like at the middle school level, these Foundations of Instruction document will really paint that picture for you. And then lastly, we have what we call model resources and intellectual preparation protocols. Because we are creating resources and materials for our teachers and leaders, we do ask people to do some intellectual preparation of those materials. And if you want to know what that looks like in the different components of program, these model resources and IPP intellectual preparation protocols will give you that information. These home pages, like I said, contain the most zoomed out, biggest big picture documents for our content areas. Then if you go to zoom into a specific content area, that's where you're going to find how all of these vision documents trickle down into unit plans and overviews, and then daily lesson resources. It's been a priority at Achievement First for a few years now to create daily lesson resources, which are now in existence for K-8 in all the content areas. And starting next year, we're going to start to create them for high school as well. For the sake of this video, I'm going to take us into the middle school literature materials, but what we'll find there is very similar to what we'll find in other content areas. When you first get into one of the contents pages, everything is going to just kind of be a flood of resources in a very long scrollable way. So you can start here. Everything is kind of chronological by year, so it'll start with Unit 1 and then go into the lessons for Unit 1 for each grade level. So 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, the 4 middle school grades. Again, we recommend that if you're going to take and adapt and adjust these resources, that you start with the big picture vision, then trickle down into the scope and sequence, then think about the unit plan, and then you can pull the daily lessons that exist with that. So you can scroll through these many, many myriad treasure trove of resources, or you can actually do some sorting. So maybe I'm interested in 7th grade materials specifically. It's not enough actually to type in that I want 7th grade materials. I actually need to go over to this Apply Filters button, super important button, that will apply the filters so that only the 7th grade materials then are popping up. I can do that kind of sorting for a grade level, for a specific unit, Unit 1, 2, 3. I can do it for a lesson number or a certain resource type. I'm looking for a lesson, I'm looking for a unit overview. You can also search for a specific word or term. So I know that one of the later units in 7th grade is a Raisin in the Sun. I want to find all of the resources for Raisin in the Sun at once. I can type that word into the search box and it'll bring up all of the different Raisin in the Sun resources for me. So there's a bunch of different ways to sort on this page and look for materials. Each content area has a little bit of a variation on a theme in terms of how things are sorting on their pages, but the applications are really similar. And the naming conventions within a content area will also be really similar. So if you go into middle school science, how everything is sorted might look a little different than it does in ELA, but you can once again find the daily lessons or the unit materials and overview. And once you kind of immerse yourself in the structures of the content area that you're interested in, you should be pretty easily able to pull the materials that you want for whichever grade it is that you're after. This was a pretty fast overview and crash course for curriculum. We're excited to share this with you. We hope you adopt it, adapt it, learn with and from it, and continue with us in our quest for educational equity. Have a great day.